to go. I'm going to press share this. There we go. So we can share this with the rest that haven't been able to come on, or if you want the replay and you want to listen to it again later, you're more than welcome. I'll be sending this out as well. So if you haven't been here before, just briefly introduce myself. My name is Carrie Lynn. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I have 3 kids, 17, 21, and 26. They all came with us here to Florida. 2 of them I've educated right through to the end. Good thing to have good resources to do that task. My 17-year-old daughter is working on high school and homeschooling here as we travel, and I've been married for 30 years. 30 years goes by really fast. I just moved across the border. Yes, we're in Florida now, Tampa Bay area, and I have several businesses. One that's been in anti-aging hair care for 6 years. I've loved doing that, the flexibility. My husband and I have started a business in air purification for family schools and businesses, and this is what led me to becoming a women's confidence and empowerment coach, speaker, and trainer through John Maxwell. Think I can, there we go, through John Maxwell. So it's what has brought me here, and I love designing my day. Who's with me? Do you love designing your day? Do you love being the one in charge, the one that's picking and choosing what you're going to put in your day and not putting in your day? Are you with me on that? Do you love to be the one that's leading the way and not being told what to do? Maybe that's me. I love what I get to do, to be in places like this where I get to meet wonderful, like-minded, growth-oriented people just like you. So I'm eager to hear about you. Again, feel free to use the chat, and as we go on, share your thoughts. So I partner with entrepreneurs offering courses like this one, the one that I'm just finishing up right now. One more week left. We have the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. I have another one coming in. I welcome you too. So these are the things that I get to do in my day as I'm designing my day. And it's these businesses that has allowed me the flexibility. Do you love flexibility too? Do you love to be able to choose how you're going to spend the hours? I mean, some things come into your day, right, that we don't always get to choose, but you get to choose your mindset to it. You get to choose how you're going to handle it, and how you're going to come out the other side of it. Whatever challenge comes your way is how you start on it. So I think this is such a perfect topic today on belief. So type yes in the chat if you love time flexibility. I think we might have something in common, right? You get to choose to be in things like this during your day, taking ownership of your personal growth. So maybe you don't want to jump across to another country like we did, or maybe you even dream of going farther than that. Maybe traveling is something that you have on your wish list, your desires, your why. Maybe you want time freedom just to be where you're at in your day right now. And I love leading these courses, meeting people like you that hopefully I get to inspire to live life by design as well. So our topic today is belief. And friends, this is your time. I want today to be that time where you are going to increase that belief in yourself, to believe in what your purpose, your passion is, that you can do whatever that is before you, to believe in your business, in what service you offer, what products maybe that you offer your team, but to believe in your dreams. It has to start believing in you. If you don't believe in you, who will, right? We have to start with us. You need to believe in you. And I want to tell you, I believe in you. And that's why we're here today. So type believe in the chats if you want to come out of this class today with a stronger belief in yourself and your purpose and what you were created to do and to be. I welcome you to reach out to me for that discovery call. Learn more about my one-on-one courses as well. If you'd like to jump into those, I have the Change Your World coming up. I'm going to tell you more about as well. So I'm going to share my screen. If you haven't yet, and you're just coming in now, share with us a win. I would love to hear your wins today, maybe even this week. Maybe you had something successful happen in your business or your family, your personal life. Maybe it was you had a goal with your water drinking. Maybe it's something to do with your health and you're eliminating sugar maybe. What are your wins today? I would love to hear that from you. So while I'm switching over my screen, feel free to use the chat there and let us know what your wins are. And then give me a thumbs up when you see the right screen. I've got lots of believes in the chat there. Awesome, awesome. All right, today's your day. Okay, and I'm just gonna give me a thumbs up once you get my screen sharing on your side. You should be able to see the screen is shared. Exercise I see coming up in the chat. Awesome. There we go. Okay. I got back into my daily excessive exercise and organized my desk. You did too there. Oh, that's awesome. Yoga. Okay. Pilates class I'm reading. Made it to my Pilates class this morning. Wonderful, Kyla. Love to hear these wins. Okay. All right. These are inspiring to hear from, you know what? I'm going to close my window here because I've got conversations you can hear on the other side there. So 3 more days of trailer life and we're moving. So, all right. Thank you for sharing. When we share these wins, doesn't it encourage you? Doesn't it feel good to know how other people are winning in life and reaching their goals? And it inspires you. You know what? You can do it too. And that is my desire for you, that after today, after this class today, you're going to come out of it having a stronger belief in what your purpose and what your passion is, what you were created to be and to do. And that even if that task starts today, that you increase in having that bigger belief in yourself, then it starts today, right? Today, you can choose to believe a little bit more in what it is that your desire is to do. So this is your time. And I'm excited. Who's excited? We're going to learn today. If Trading Secrets is the reason that we're here today. As a Trading Secrets member, if you're just learning about it here as well, Trading Secrets, this is why we have these exclusive monthly trainings to help you discover your why, to help you overcome those self-limiting beliefs, the things that are holding you back, to believe in yourself. So tell people about it. Invite people to Trading Secrets so that you can hear, they can hear. You can multiply your growth with them. Tell your team members. We've had topics in the past. Let me know if you've been there for any of these topics that we've covered, as well as in the chat. Let me know if you haven't heard it and hey, that sparked something that you'd be interested in hearing. It helps me to create content going forward. So we've had topics such as breaking up with self-sabotage. We've had the art of affirmations. We've had rewrite your story, letting go of fear, how to do a life audit. Most recently, we've had the 15 invaluable laws of growth. So again, if there's a title there that you'd like to hear again, or if you haven't heard and it interests you, or there's a topic that you have heard you'd like to have more topics like it, let me know. And today is believe. All right, so let's get on this journey. How important is it for you, what you're doing today, for you to believe in your purpose, to believe that you can overcome whatever those challenges are? How important is it for you to believe? Type yes in the chat if you know that belief is something that you need to have, that maybe you need to have more of, and you're here and you want to come out of it. Type yes if belief is something you want to increase for yourself. So let me start today by saying, friends, I believe in you. So Amanda, Angela, Ashley, Jen, Jody, Karen, Kyla, Ricky, Taylor, I believe in you. Sometimes we don't believe in ourselves, and sometimes we just need somebody else to hold that space for us while we grow in belief. All right, I'm glad you're here, growing in belief. And I'm holding that space for you. I'm holding that space for you till you get to that space where you do believe in yourself, because I know you can get to your goals. I know that whatever that why is, whatever that purpose is, whatever's coming against you to hold you back, I know that you can get over that. So welcome. I guarantee this will be a life-changing experience. Let's get started. We're going to talk about confidence, why confidence is important. Self-esteem is how we view ourselves, our own value, and our own sense of worthiness. Okay, so this is a checkpoint for ourselves. It is a critical component of our decision making. Can you see how that would be effective in our decision making and our risk taking, even our motivation? Where is our confidence at? Where is our self-esteem at? What do we believe about ourselves? Can you see how it would have a trickling effect into other aspects of life, right? So those with lower self-esteem tend to believe that they are not as worthy of things as others. Not a great place to be at, such as achieving their personal goals, while those with higher self-esteem embody more resiliency to overcome obstacles. Because you know what? They're sure of themselves. They're sure of the worthiness that they have and that desirable outcome. So think right now, think of one thing that you hold a lot of value in, something that you like to do, something that you're passionate about. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe it's gardening, for example, when the snow goes away. Maybe it's skiing, something that you hold a lot of value in. You will make sure to put the energy to keep that garden, for example, well watered and weeded, right? You may even put some extra effort into researching the plants, what the care is for them, to ensure that they are in the best growing conditions. Well, that's similar to self-esteem, except that it is yourself that you're caring for rather than the garden. This is you now. Super important. Healthy self-esteem or value in oneself breeds confidence. Confidence is defined as a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. So it's a reflective time. Do you see where I'm going with this? A lack of self-confidence keeps us from living our lives to the fullest. So how important is it to be confident? We become afraid to freely express ourselves. We become afraid to contribute our ideas. Have you seen this before? We become afraid to even share our talents when we have that lack of self-confidence. Benefits now. What are the benefits of becoming more confident? So the benefits of becoming more confident then would be more happiness, more enjoyment. You're fulfilling that purpose that is inside of you. You'll have less self-doubt and limitations. You'll gain strength in these capabilities. You'll see the wins that you have every day, the little wins, the big wins. You'll have freedom from fear and anxiety, because you'll see the successes that you're having. There'll be a reduction in stress. You'll have a natural motivation that will start to just naturally be there. And you'll see great and more attainable success in the things that you set your hands to. So how do we make that shift? Are you interested in how to make that shift happen? Let me tell you, to start off with, how do you talk to yourself? Uh-oh. Okay. What are the thoughts that you're putting up here? What are the thoughts you're allowing in here? What do you say to yourself? You read that right. It is not as nicely as I should. Okay. All right. When we talk to ourselves negatively, when we're harsh, maybe we're judgmental, versus when we're supportive of what we talking to ourselves, you can do this, supportive and loving to ourselves. What's the difference? What's the outcome going to be? Now, we all talk to ourselves, right? Sometimes even out loud. Who's one of those? Do you talk out loud to yourself? There are two distinguishable modes of talking to ourselves. So it can be instructional, like working through a task, and then motivational, like, I can do this. I can do this. This motivational self-talk is closely related to our confidence levels. Our confidence levels. So what happens when we don't talk nicely to ourselves? Talking negatively can have different outcomes, but all have a common theme. It is not productive. Negative self-talk can be fueled by a number of things. Some non-productive outcomes include irrational beliefs about yourself, a bad mood that isn't addressed. What about persistent pessimism or being overly critical? Some of these symptoms showing up. This negative self-talk has symptoms, all right? Being overly critical, fear, and anxiety. These are the symptoms that show up. And these are all very real things that most of us experience, but the trick is stopping them in their tracks. So becoming aware of them is the first step. And once you're on to them, then you can figure out what to do with them. If we do not reinforce our negative beliefs, you know what? They won't have power over you anymore. We don't want to give those negative beliefs power over us, right? And it can come just in those words that we think, that we speak. So what are some common examples? Maybe you've gotten caught in some of these yourself. Do you ever say things like, I'm not worth it? Or there's no use. I can't do it. What about people won't like me? Or I'm not enough? Others are better than me. Oh, my opinions don't matter. Nothing ever goes right. Any of these familiar to you? I invite you to stop. Do not believe those things. Stop those thoughts right now if you've heard those before. They're wrong. They're lies. Okay, up next, I'm going to be sharing some examples of what to tell yourself instead. So what would be the opposite of those words? Our minds are powerful machines. The thought we produce can translate then into action. They become our words, and then they become our action, which then creates reality, right? And that is how we truly achieve greatness. Now, what happens if you reverse that back and you change this first? You know, the good book, I believe, says death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. How powerful are those words? Can you think of, maybe you've been the recipient of cutting words. What has that done to your life? How has the outcome changed after that? Versus when you have affirmations and those positive, like cheerleading words spoken over you. You did it. I'm so proud of you. Look what you can do. What would be the road, the outcome from either of those words? What kind of fruit will come out of each of those choices, those words that we, and maybe we didn't have the choice, maybe they're spoken over us, but we, now that you're learning this, you have the choice of whether you're going to accept that word. You might hear that word, you might hear that thought, but you have the choice to cut it off and either to continue in that or to stop it in its tracks, taking every thought captive, right? If we are filling our minds with negative comments about ourselves and our circumstances, sometimes that's even just listening to the media, right? Listening to the negativity of the world and allowing ourselves to dwell on that a little too much. We are creating boundaries for ourselves that we otherwise would not need to overcome. So think of your mind like a computer, okay? Think of your mind like that programmable computer. You must program it for efficiency, to run smoothly and complete its task, right? You need it to do what it's supposed to do. Your mind is the same way. So if we take every thought captive, that means catching the negative, okay? Catching those negative thoughts, not allowing them to grow, not allowing them to continue on and to have that much power over us. Taking that negative word before it grows, right? You're picking out that weed from your garden, discarding them, not allowing them any more power over your life. So instead of negative self-talk examples, like I listed before, what about something like this instead? And I want you to exercise this, expand upon the list that I give you. Which ones do you need to hear? Which ones do you hear that help you today, and add to the list? Let's use the chat and let's read these words, these affirmations, these positive thoughts that we can reprogram our minds to. So what if you heard the words, I can handle this, or I'm making progress. I am in control of this. I'm willing to try. I can do this. What other thoughts, what other phrases can you think of that would be life-giving? Oh, my slides are changing on me. That are life-giving to you. What other thoughts can you change? Maybe you have something recurring, that recurring record in your mind that you hear regularly. What's the opposite of it? If it's a negative thought, what is the opposite of it? I will get this. I can do all things. I have many likable qualities. Maybe you need to say that to yourself. I do not need to compare myself to others. The only one you need to compare yourself is you yesterday, right? Are you improving on your journey? I am complete. I am loved. What words, what phrases do you need to hear? Does your family need to hear? Does your team members, your coworkers need to hear? Maybe you can be that life-giving words of abundance that somebody else needs to hear. Okay, this is part of how we can change our world. Wherever our world is, we can be that change. And my personal favorite is a quote that says, always believe that something wonderful is about to happen. Who knows what's around the corner? Who knows what's coming up tomorrow for me, right? So I'm reading in the comments here, yes, it runs me down hearing the negativity. I try not to allow it in my life. Runs me down. It does have an effect. There's power in words, right? Living a positive life and knowing there's always a better outcome. Yes, I am accountable and have a good routine. Good for you. But trying so hard. I am me. I love it. Yes, you are uniquely and wonderfully made. Do you have a favorite phrase? I shared one with you. Always believe something wonderful is about to happen. Do you have a favorite phrase? Maybe it's a quote that you've shared or you've put on your dream board or something that you've got on your desk or up on your walls. Is there a favorite phrase you like to tell yourself, reaffirm yourself with when you're presented with a struggle? What are those positive things? Feel free to share. I am smart. I am strong. I am loud. I am worthy. Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay, so these affirmations, I am whole and perfect the way I am. This self-talk we can use specifically to cultivate, like that garden, right? To cultivate like that farmland. We can cultivate self-care, much like the positive self-talk I mentioned before. The main purpose of these affirmative words are to rewire our brain for a more confident and optimistic outlook. So we got to be careful what's going in here, right? The main difference is these are exclusively performed out loud. So to speak them out, to audibly hear them, well, they have a similar goal. If you have a mantra maybe or affirmations, they're different from one another. When we speak them out loud, you're going to give them more power. Mantras, if you don't know what they are, mantras are either words or sounds maybe that bring you to that positive thought provoking state. They invoke a deeper focus, maybe a calming emotion. On the other hand, affirmations, they were actually developed by neuroscientists in the 1970s, believe it or not, with the goal of redirecting thought patterns. And these tend to be in complete sentences addressing something specific. So it's like that U-turn in our thoughts. These are also performed out loud too. So for myself, I use scripture because it is filled with life-giving words. As a believer, I know that there are promises and affirmations in God's word that I use, and that helps me to do that U-turn and helps me in who I am created to be. So try saying some of these words. Try saying, remind yourself, write them down, put them on your fridge, put them on your phone. I have an affirmation app. It's great. And the Calm app. Okay, good. We need these things to pop up. Who has notifications popping up on your phone all day long, right? Why not have a notification that can give you some positive redirection for your thoughts? If you have some of those tools, feel free to put them into the chat. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Love the I Am app. Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And what I have done too is I put in my calendar on my phone, for me, a scripture, something to redirect my thoughts. And I repeat it every single day, that same pop-up comes on the front of my screen, that affirmation to redirect my thoughts, because the day can sometimes get bogged down with stuff, right? So to make sure you have a tool that helps you to redirect you. So try saying some of these every morning. What are you feeding yourself first thing in the morning? Maybe even looking at yourself in the mirror, giving yourself that high five in the mirror. And feel maybe it'll feel a little uncomfortable at first, but you know what? This is the beginning of change. Have we gotten so used to hearing the negative that hearing a positive, giving ourselves a high five, feels weird, right? So what can we change it to be? I love who I have become could be your new words. I let go of negative thoughts and feelings about myself. I am always growing and developing. My opinions resonate with who I am, or I am holy and perfectly made the way I am. I'm fearfully, remarkably, wonderfully made. I can tell you, you can pray, and if you believe that you've received it, it will be yours. So these affirmations can help with problem solving. They can create an inner clarity for you. They can increase positive emotions. Nice list that all of this can do for you. Why would we allow those negative thoughts when we know they are so destructive? Why would we allow them to stay there any longer? So let's use some of these tools. They can increase your confidence. You want to share this with your kids. It can increase their confidence. So what are some of your favorite scriptures, affirmations, words that you use? Keep them coming into the chat. It's great to read them. Now, what about habits? The power of habit. Habits can either propel you in the direction to your goals or steer you off the path. Okay, good habits, bad habits, what do they do? Either way, they have a powerful contribution to the outcome. And believe it or not, a lot of these habits come from what we believe about ourselves. What have we been telling ourselves creates some of these habits, and they can work hand in hand, but they can be powerful to change your course. There's books written on the power of habit as well. The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg specifically is a fantastic read on how our everyday habits affect the way we see ourselves and our likeliness of achieving our goals. So what are your habits? Okay, maybe make a list. Sometimes we don't know what our habits are until we intentionally think about some of these things that we do. So in this book, he delves into defining a keystone habit as a powerful tool to uncovering your true potential. So if you want to look up that book, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. So they are made successful by lending our focus to one centralized goal and seeing other routines fall appropriately around them. So for example, if you're determined to develop maybe a daily exercise routine, we saw that in the chat earlier, it is likely that you will notice yourself choosing to eat healthier. It's kind of like a fringe effect on it, a fringe habit. Maybe you'll wake up earlier and you'll utilize your time more efficiently as you're recognizing, hey, I'm taking care of myself. I'm important. I'm going to take care of myself. So whatever your desired keystone habit may be, the idea is that working towards that keystone habit will create that ripple effect in changing other routines in your life. So if we have a positive ripple effect, who doesn't want that, right? Who wants to change many aspects of your life? If you start with that one keystone, it can have that continued effect, changing other routines in your life too. Duhigg says, if you believe you can change, okay, if you believe you can change, if you can make it a habit, the change becomes real. And this is the real power of habits. So what is that habit that you know right now is speaking to you that you need to change, that keystone habit that, it could have that ripple effect for your life too? What is that? Write it down. It's coming to mind right now, so you don't forget after we get off this class. Write it down, or even just write down the word habit so you can come back to it later and check yourself during the day. What habits do I have? Do I not have? What do I want to change? What could be that keystone for you? What is a habit you are looking to implement that you know will have that ripple effect. So go for the goal. All successful people have one unifying characteristic. They set goals for themselves, and naturally we're going to be inclined to do what has always worked for us. Therefore, when we set goals and we succeed, we are more likely to continue that habit. Just like our kids when they're little, we want to set them up for wins too, so that we can cheer them on and they can take that next step and they can do the next thing, and they see this series of successes and it builds their confidence, right? And we're more likely to continue in that. So this is also a huge personal development exercise for you. Just like anything else you want to get good at, practice is everything. Practice makes permanent, right? Practicing sets goals for yourself and works towards reaching those goals. Anybody have any kids in music lessons, right? And setting that goal, practicing every single day, how it's going to help them to get there. You can't just combine it all into 2 hours of practicing right before the piano lesson, right? You need to do it a little bit every day. So that's just like our habits or our goals. Practicing setting goals for yourself and working towards them a little bit every day helps you to recognize your potential, what you're going to get at the other end, and then strengthening your confidence in yourself. So a few tips to be sure you get the most out of goal setting. So take small steps, right? We're not going to grab that mountain from the mountaintop on the first step. You're going to take small steps towards it. Create a timeline. You want it to be measurable, right? Something that you can see that progress in. Give yourself credit along the way. So celebrating those little wins along the way is so important, and accept the fact that, you know what, failure is not a reason to give up. Failure is a part of life, right? Who can agree? Who can attest to that? Failure is a part of life, but it's how we treat that failure that's going to determine the outcome of it. So when you see failure as an opportunity to learn, as an opportunity to grow, to do better the next time, there's no reason to give up, right? When you know that that can be the very thing that's going to teach you the very best. Comforting and familiar habits can affect our daily tasks. Yes, with my kiddo, we have small goals and we do them every day. And in his therapies, little wins are huge. Thank you for sharing that. See, little wins are huge. They're what create the bigger wins. Next, become your own best friend. So in our ever connected world, solitude has become a dying art. That quiet time often gets dismissed. Can you agree? We always have some way to get in contact with others throughout our day, and increased in today's world, right? And that's not a bad thing at all, but it is most certainly, it can take away from your relationship with you. So a few of the benefits of being your own best friend, taking care of you, can include cultivation, first of all, of self-awareness, okay? Time to reflect, time to do a checkpoint. It can also include the ability to support and comfort yourself when you need it. It can increase acceptance of yourself rather than punishment. We're often our worst enemies, right? So it can increase acceptance of yourself. Yes, taking that quiet time. And then the realization that you are worthy. You are worthy of it. Taking that time for yourself, of speaking positively over yourself to redirect your thoughts and change that outcome, whatever passion, goal, dream, desire you have. You're worthy of it. Sometimes we need that quiet time just to remember that. So think of how you would treat your best friend. Okay. So a thought comes to mind right now. Maybe you've got a best friend and you bought her coffee today or yesterday or whatever, and you sent her a birthday gift, or you just sent her a good message. Think of how you would treat your best friend. Isn't that how you deserve to be treated too? We need to take care of ourselves. We need to become our own best friend and take care of ourselves. And spending time alone, doing things that make you happy, is a great practice to add to your life, because again, you are worthy, right? So whether it is reading a good book, taking a walk outside, the possibilities for entertainment alone are endless and very beneficial, that you take that quiet time for yourself. So share with us in the chat, what are some things that you love to do alone? What are some of these things that you do for for you. Stress can be unavoidable, but managing that stress is one of the most important ways of respecting yourself. So we all have stress, right? What do we do with it? How do we handle it? And having that quiet time, that meditative quiet time, can do just that. What it does is it redirects your body's attention to our nervous system, our parasympathetic nervous system, or better known as the home to that relaxation response. It triggers feelings of calmness when you take that space. Can you feel it now? Can you envision it now? If you have a nurturing space, that environment that you can go to where you can have that quiet me time, that quiet reflective time, it's at a calm place, a place of well-being for you, all the while contributing to clarity and against any of those limiting beliefs. Maybe you'll recognize them better when you take that time, just that space for you, and you'll discover, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been thinking about myself that way. Those limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves, taking that quiet time can be exactly the tool that you need. And then next, write it out. It is so powerful what you write out. Journaling is not only for creative purposes, but for your emotional health as well. And keeping a journal around for times that you are feeling truly stuck. Anybody felt stuck before? When you're feeling truly stuck on something, maybe it's bringing you down, or even when you accomplish something and you want to celebrate, oh, it's so good to put that in the journal too. Both situations can equally serve the purpose of boosting your self-confidence. Writing out negative experiences is a tactical way of getting them out of your head and towards a more constructive solution. Sometimes we just let it sit there and we regurgitate that negative experience. And it's like this big pot of stew stuck up here. And not a very tasty stew, right? And so we keep it there and we dwell on it. And then our thoughts become our words, and our words become our actions, and our actions become our reality. Okay, so we need to catch it there. So if we can write it out and take those negative thoughts and put them down on paper, the same that we can do with something that's powerfully exciting, something that when, right, writing it down, those good experiences can boost your self-confidence. Oftentimes we can look back on those times when we're having those negative times. Oh yeah, that happened. And it can be a real boost for your own confidence and redirecting, giving yourself that U-turn opportunity. Maintaining a gratitude journal, sometimes the best thing to do when you're stuck in that place of negativity. Redirect your thoughts to something that you're grateful for. Start brainstorming a list of everything you're grateful for. And this is where this journal can come in really handy. It'll redirect your thoughts real fast. It'll get you out of whatever thing you're stuck in. And maintaining that gratitude, or you can call it an awesomeness journal, puts you in the position of recognizing all the good about yourself, of all the good about your life on a day-to-day basis. It's easy to forget the blessings that we have when we have these big mountains in our way. So whether it's written in a physical notebook, maybe you have something online that you use as your journaling, or typed on the notes section of your phone, whatever works for you. You can start it today. You can start it any time. Put a reminder on your phone to journal. Get those thoughts out, good and bad. So up next, I'm going to be sharing some practical things for you, some practical journaling ideas for you to help you to get started. In the journal, I do not just express myself more openly than I could to any person. I create myself. So I'm going to give you a list, and you can write these things down here to see if it can help you. What are you grateful for? What do you want to feel tomorrow? So these are some of the things that you can write about. If you don't know what to write about, how did you surprise yourself this week? What are you really good at? How would your best friend describe you? Some of these things could be really, really intriguing to write in your journal. What makes you unique? Who appreciates you? What will you accomplish in the next 5 years? Okay, there's an expansive exercise. What is the best compliment that you've ever received? Oh yeah, write those down. What emotions do you associate with confidence? See how it's redirecting your thoughts. Write a letter to yourself thanking yourself for all that you do. Write a letter to God, thanking God for everything that He gives you. Share below, share in the chats if you have any other thoughts that you could add to the list, some journaling ideas, maybe some that you've already done already. And while we're on the subject of journaling, an effective way to really check in with yourself and to establish some motivation to reach your goals is to write a letter. Write a letter to your future you. So think forward in time, however far. This can be a very insightful experience. It puts you in the now, and it represents the things you want to be sure that you remember. Sometimes life can get so fast, right? And we don't stop to smell the roses. Write this letter to yourself. Imagine writing a letter addressed to yourself for you to read, let's say 5 years from now. Where am I going to be in 5 years from now? What am I going to be doing? What is life going to look like? What would you say to your future self? What kind of questions would you like to ask yourself 5 years from now? Let you think on that for a moment. What goals would you like to have achieved? And as you write your letter, you'll begin to think of the actions you could take today to ensure that that letter is relevant, that that letter happens in the future. So write it up, take your pen out, your paper out, get an envelope, seal it in that envelope, and keep it in a safe place. Maybe put something on your calendar for 5 years from now so you don't forget where you put it, right? And then you discover it. It'll be interesting to discover it by accident too. There is something you can use alternatively, a website that's futureme.org. So if somebody wants to put that into the chat, futureme.org, you can choose when the letter is sent to your email. It's kind of a fun exercise to do there. But who's going to try this? Who's going to try writing? Thank you, Taylor. Who's going to write a letter to yourself? Who's going to make sure that that gets done? And you have a letter for you 5 years from now. I would love to hear feedback on that. So seeing is believing. A visual interpretation of your goals, values, and passions is a great addition to your living space. A vision board, who's done one of those in particular, can be used to motivate you. Seeing it, right? That's your vision. When you see something, oh, I want to go there the next time we go on a holiday, right? When you see it, you believe it. It's what makes it happen. That vision board can cultivate gratitude, and it can express your creativity. Love vision boards. Doing mine this week. Awesome to hear. So define your intentions with this vision board. What do you want? How do you want to be feeling? What is it that you feel you need? So gather your supplies. I've seen them done. Who's done them online? You can do them on Canva as well as you can do them on a Bristow board. You can be creative in numerous ways. Poster board, or even just a blank sheet of paper. Stick it up with a tack. Find images that resonate with your intentions, maybe from the internet, printing them out, or a magazine, or maybe some other resources that you find useful. And create. Make sure to create a mix of words. Put images on there that fit the qualifying theme of your vision. Where is it that you want to go? What do you want to have on there? Place them in a way that makes you feel good, and then glue them on or tack them on. Tape them on, masking up for the day job. Okay, all right. Place in an area of your home that you're going to see it, right? That you're going to recognize it and see it regularly. And now everyone's is going to look completely different, and that's the point. Maybe you want to cultivate a sense of joy. You want to include images and words that make you feel joyful, or maybe it's security. If that's the case, you want to collect things that make you feel safe. Whatever your goal may be, keep in mind you're making this for you. And a strong support system, next, is an important tool to have when life gets a bit heavy. Do you have a strong support system? As mentioned before, building your self-confidence is a work in progress. Truly not a linear experience. Some days you're going to feel better than others, right? Some days you'll be able to find that quiet space, and others you will be longing for external support. All of that is okay. There's no substitute for having people you can trust and rely on, making you feel good. So turning to family, to friends when you need to talk, rather than getting caught up in that negative self-talk, that's better, right? That self-talk loop that I talked about earlier. So your friends, your family, they can lift your spirits. Find that person that can help you through that and help you recognize that faulty belief. You shouldn't be saying that to yourself, right? And turn that around, make that U-turn. I made one digitally and made it my screensaver on my phone so I can look at it daily. Wonderful, Jen. Thank you for sharing that. So don't forget to love you. This by far is the most important part of the process. Some days you're going to feel more confident than other days, but it's a huge feat to love yourself no matter what, right? You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are perfect just the way you are. Even when you aren't feeling like it, we can't always trust our feelings, right? You deserve to be loved, and you sure should remind yourself of that regularly. Put that on that dream board. Tell yourself that affirmation. Everyone has different ways of expressing their love for themselves, and there's a few ideas that I can help you with, and please put some more into the chat here. Maybe it's just taking that nice long bath, that's self-care, right? Going for a walk outside, getting fresh air, maybe cuddling up in bed late one morning, or making plans with a good friend. Maybe it's unplugging for the weekend or visiting your favorite coffee shop. Plan an adventure. Be creative with whatever it is that you do to love you. It's only a fraction here of some of the things that you can do. So feel free to share in the chat some of the things that you've done. Now, some words, some quotes. Here's a few of my favorite quotes. Pick your favorite. I'm going to put them up on the screen there and we'll read through them, write them down. And remember that how powerful these can be. If you can see them on your screen, I'll read them out. A man cannot be comfortable without his own approval, said Mark Twain. Remember always that you not only have the right to be an individual, you have an obligation to be one. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Why should we worry about what others think of us? Do we have more confidence in their opinion than we do our own? That's a good thought. Too many people overvalue what they are not and undervalue what they are. Next one is, you have been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. And the next one, to love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. So thank you for sharing this experience with me. I hope now that you have recognized how important it is to believe in yourself and some of the tools, like your thoughts, like your actions, what you can do to increase that belief in yourself, and retraining your thoughts and believing in yourself. We can change our world. That is my next course that I have coming up. Did you know that positive change through values-based transformation of entire nations is actually happening right now? We have these stories happening through Change Your World in Guatemala, in Paraguay, in Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, and New Guinea. These concepts, these values are spreading through John Maxwell's Change Your World book that he wrote with Rob Hopkins. And I invite you to be part of a worldwide transformation movement simply from your home. So whether you're in transition to a new job or occupation or something that you're excited about, or you just want to bring constructive transformation to your community, join me in my next mastermind class. You're going to have the tools to do just that. Do we live in conflicting times? Do we live in challenging times today? Do you think that some tools, some value-based tools, might be world-changing if we let them, if we learn them and we share these behaviors? Would you agree that they can be world-changing if everybody learned about these? Each one of us has the ability in ourselves, that capacity to make positive differences in our families, our communities, and our organizations. So the question is, how? So I invite you to do that, to join me in my mastermind session. It's a 5-week experience where we're going to meet on Zoom and mastermind together, deep dive into that book that started a global movement. So watch for information on that. And thank you again. Please share with me, send me an email for the most valuable piece of information that you learned from this experience. I would love to hear how you are believing in yourself and what you are believing in yourself for, because I'm believing for greatness for you. So thank you everybody for joining me here today. And I hope that you have found value in today's class and take something from it and put it into action now. now. Take one concept and make sure that you don't just close the day on it today, but believe in yourself to fulfill it. All right. Thanks again for joining in. Have a great rest of your day.